everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. This is episode 8, and myself and my friends here are about to delve into the discography of Prince Rogers Nelson, the artist. Before we go into this, I'd like to thank all my Patreon subscribers. My goal was to let go of my waiting tables job and to supplement my income with Patreon, doing things that I love. So even for the price of a cup of coffee a month, it adds up and I don't have to wait tables. I can sit here and talk about music with my friends. So go to patreon.com/Jeremy Gloff and also go to YouTube, Phonogenics 101, and like the channel, leave a comment, talk about what songs you love. Let's get into the album. Today we're talking about Prince's debut album, For You, from 1978. Before we talk about the album, yes, we're going to go around the panel, and everyone introduce themselves. Ann Fearman.
Ann Fearman from Western New York, and I am a moderate Prince fan.
All right, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Dicker, Los Angeles, huge Prince fan, and excited to discuss this album.
Melissa
Riley from Akron, Ohio, and I am a huge Prince fan. He didn't like fan, so.
And then we have Joshua
Bean, representing Tampa Bay, and a huge Prince fan. Really excited about this conversation.
Yeah, and I am Jeremy Gloff, in case you don't remember, and I'm here also from Tampa, Florida, going to the Super Bowl. And we're hosting the Super Bowl.
Like, there's no response.
Yeah.
We're like not sports fans.
I'm not a sports fan either.
Right, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about how I came onto this album, then everyone else can share. I think I became a Prince fan around the time of Parade. Of course, my mom had the Purple Rain soundtrack, but the Parade was around the time I started buying the Prince albums. And of course, I was in 7th grade then, so I was kind of afraid to like buy Dirty Mind because it just seemed such a dangerous album. But then he had these 2 albums that were before Dirty Mind, the self-titled Prince, and then For You was his first album. And I remember seeing the cover of For You and thinking like, what a weird beginning of such a huge career. Like even the cover, everything about it just seems so low-key and kind of subtle. So I just remember buying the album, not knowing what to expect, and just feeling like it was so kind of somber and low-key looking for like, because Prince, like by the time of Purple Rain, was like royalty, you know what I mean? And this right here to me doesn't speak like this is royalty, you know what I mean? I love it. Like I love this album. I think it's a gem, but what a strange beginning to a amazing career. So, okay, what does everyone else think just of your first impressions of this album?
Well, it definitely shows, moments of brilliance. It's like, to me, like I love sports, so it's like his rookie album, it is his first one coming into of his own, hasn't found his footing yet, but so impressive. He's a one-person band, just a true like savant, plays everything.
Did he do all of that, Josh?
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the liner notes, they list.
Didn't know that.
Don't they list every instrument he plays in the liner notes?
Wow.
Yeah.
19 years old. 19. So like keeping that in perspective, like it's not my favorite album, but for the age and the time and what he did is just super impressive.
The sheer amount of capabilities and talent. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, way wiser than his age.
God.
Right.
Yes. I assumed he was in his 20s.
I know that like some of the origin stories of Prince all say that when they heard his music for the first time, like his demo tapes and whatever, they were like, what a great band. And they were like, and then they found out that it was one person and everybody was blown away, which, I mean, why wouldn't you be when you're 19 and you can do all these things? It is mind blowing.
It really is.
I can't remember when I first listened to it. I don't remember when I actually heard it, but I do remember when hearing about that he played all the instruments, and that just blew my mind. I was just like, wow.
And didn't they lie about his age in the promotional materials and try to make it seem like he was younger than he was? Like, didn't they say he was like 16 or 17 when he was actually 19? Or am I imagining things?
I remember reading something like that too.
I think
I kind of recall something about they wanted Earth, Wind, and Fire to produce him.
Oh.
And he he somehow like he was agreeing to it, and then he like at the last minute was like, actually no.
Who did he have produce it then?
Himself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's so crazy, and they let him.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That's interesting.
Like, I know he really fought with Warner Brothers Records.
Yeah.
He's an unknown artist who's very young, and usually they don't let someone produce their debut album. So this was a big deal that they actually gave him so much control over his album.
Do you think they gave him control because they thought you're just nothing will come of this, so we're just going to let you do your thing? And, you've given up Earth, Wind, and Fire, so you obviously are not, going to make it.
I think they believed in him. I do.
Yeah, I think they believed in him too, because I mean, it was pretty much when you hear the demo or whatever, it was like, how could you not believe in someone that can do all of that? Because not only playing all the instruments, but like his background vocals sounded like a full band of singers as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think what I read, I think they gave him it's a 3-album deal, and he went way over budget, like 3 times over budget for just this album. Like he exceeded the 3-album budget for this album.
Wow.
And what I didn't know is it was recorded, or some of it, in Sausalito, where like the Bay Area.
Right.
I've been there a couple times. A lot of rock and roll artists, even Otis Redding, recorded Dock of the Bay there. So I didn't realize that he kind of like was there for that. So it's kind of a special area, and it was just really cool. I didn't realize that part of the album, history of the album.
There's a book that came out called Prince Pre-Fame, and I just actually ordered it yesterday from NJG Studio in England. It's the photographs. Like, I Googled some of the images. It has all these pictures of this young, smiling Prince. Like, he was smiling in all the pictures. It's so interesting because he kind of packaged himself as so serious and mysterious from the release of this on. So, like, those early pictures showing him a little bit looser and, like, smiling. I'm like, what a cute dude. Like, not, like, hot cute, but, like, he just gave all this, like, cute, approachable energy that I just can't wait to get this book and, like, thumb through it.
Oh I went to that exhibit.
Oh, did you?
It was amazing. They had all the pictures up on the wall. Quite expensive to buy.
Do you agree, Melissa, that weren't a lot of pictures of him like smiling and just very like relaxed?
Laid back, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the thing I find interesting about this album before we go into the track by track is, Prince, this came out in 78, and then Prince was around for the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I feel like for the first 3 decades, like this album sounds so 70s to me. Like this is a 70s album.
Sure.
His 80s albums are so 80s. And then some of those 90s albums are so 90s. So I feel like 3 decades, Prince really defined those decades. I feel like once we got into the 2000s, maybe there wasn't a sound that was as specific to that decade. I feel like, to me, this album is so the first time I played it, I'm like, this is a damn disco album.
Yeah. That's what my Bruce was saying too. Yeah, he's like, whoa, but there's it is a disco album, but there's moments where it's clearly a dance album, and I think that the fact that he differentiates that so early is what I think launched him into a path of not being a disco guy, because that can kill your career.
But I think this is
before you ever get started
a sign of what's to come too, because I think there's so much sprinkled in this album too. You hear the guitar riffs, you hear the ballads, you hear the sultry like voice, you hear the disco. Like this is the beginning of something special.
There's definitely a template for like the classic Prince album. You know what I mean? The rocker, the ballad, and the extended jam.
Right.
The weird 1 minute track where you're like, what the fuck is that?
Right. I mean, overall, the album is so short, like it's
very short.
A little, kind of like Prince, just a little pocket. Well, he was diminutive. He was a diminutive man. You are what you are. I mean, he certainly overpowered. It was just a bad joke. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. But I think
I can't stop laughing. I'm turning off my camera for a second.
I mean, it's like 45 minutes long. I couldn't believe it. I was able to listen to it like another extra time because it was so brief, And again, I guess that's a reflection of him doing whatever the hell he wanted to do.
Well, especially compared to his other albums, it's like very short.
Right.
And sometimes less is more. You know what I mean?
Indeed, I've heard that.
In many cases in life. Okay, let's start talking. I'm trying to get Patreon subscribers, not losing. Okay, let's start talking about this album. So the first song on the first Prince album is this weird acapella, like 1 or 2 minute. What a way to start! Like, if someone 300 years from now is like, okay, who's this guy Prince? And let me play his first album.
First song.
It was like he was clairvoyant already, because in the lyrics of the song, all of this and more is for you. With love, sincerity, and deepest care, my life with you I share. He literally predicted his entire fucking career in that one damn song. And it's like, I'm going to have chills thinking about it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The first thing you hear from Prince is like, ooh.
It's an interesting choice, because especially
it's daring.
I think it's daring, and I think it's what again allowed him to not instantly be shuffled off as a disco.
I love it though. I love this song. I think it's so strange.
And I've read, I don't know the exact number, but I heard the layers, the different vocals that he used. I read anywhere up from like 6 different layers of vocals that he used for this song on like a 1 minute snippet. It feels like. How long is the song?
Like 2 minutes.
Is it that long? I
1
feel
minute.
Like it wasn't even...
1 minute and 6 seconds.
Wow.
Oh,
gosh.
So he does a lot
right
with a little bit of time.
Right.
To me, no, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Is it ethereal?
Ethereal, yeah.
That's what I think this sounds like.
Melissa, do you like this song?
Well, yeah.
He never did it live, did he? I mean,
he used it as like the tour intro for many, many times, where it'd start off with a little tiny snatch of it, and then he would go into like, the intro to 1999, and then kind of do a little hits medley kind of thing with a video screen in the background. But
he did that on his album too.
Yeah, he didn't really perform it per se.
But he would play it like in later concerts after he became famous?
As the tour intro.
That's
like
interesting.
As the show intro.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the new
live.
tour intro.
He's not playing it. It was part of the
it was like pre-recorded.
Yeah, it's pre-recorded. Yeah, exactly.
But I still think it's cool that he, even use it as an intro in his tour and didn't just like leave it behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's such an interesting, beautiful piece of music.
It must have meant something to him. He doesn't play anything for no reison or just because,
No.
so that was probably symbolic.
Certainly.
Despite the fans' pleas.
I mean, I think it shows how meticulous he was, right? Right from the get-go, like Josh said, he put, all this effort into a minute-long song, and that kind of control, which I think becomes quite a burden, but I don't want to make this all about,
It's also it's like his introduction into the music world. So that's how he just laid it out in the beginning.
Right, right. I mean, he's showing off, that even this 1 minute song has all this going on.
That's a great way to put it. He was a little bit. Yeah, he's like...
Yeah.
He knew his worth. Yeah, he knew his worth. Absolutely. I don't think he ever doubted that.
He's like, here I am with my 50 overdubbed harmonies. It's interesting. Even though the song's only a minute, it still switches gears in the middle too. So even this short song has like different sections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just talked about this song like 5 times as long as the actual song.
Yes. Seriously.
So any thoughts about the song for you before we move on? All right. So the beat kicks in. The first, I hate to say proper Prince song, but the first fully fledged Prince song is In Love, which kind of has like a bouncy disco-ish jam. Yeah. I've always loved this song. I think it's just like a feel good. It makes me feel good to listen to it. I like the lyrics. Most of the Prince early albums were sung in falsetto. On this album, he dips into his lower range a couple times. But what do you guys think of In Love?
I love it. And a fun fact, he never performed it live ever.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
I love this.
I'm full of it.
That's why I like having this discussion with Prince fans, because like what you think like is general, like accepted as like everyone loves it, they don't. And that's what I got from our Sign of the Times conversation. But this one sounds the most dated to me on the whole album.
It is dated.
It's very dated.
I mean, we all know the album as a whole kind of sound, like you said, 70s. It's like definitely, but this song in particular definitely sounds the most dated, and not one of my favorites. I'm not hating on it, but it's not one of my favorites.
It kind of has a Bee Gees feel to me a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to be listening to them while. Well, if it has a Bee Gees.
Yeah, like a little snippet of it or something.
Oh, it's so hard to. I listened to it 4 times in a row, and doing stuff, but listen to it. But now it's like gone.
Right.
It's not like it was ever part of my repertoire, nor ever will be, frankly.
One of the lyrics, doesn't he say, "I want to play in your river"? And doesn't that come up a lot of times throughout his discography? Like, he's always in the river. The Sheila E. song, "Wednesday Like a River." So I feel like, this song kind of foreshadows
that he was in
some of his themes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I mean, certainly he didn't hold back on, I don't know, is this song about?
No, the first lyric is, "Ever since I met you, baby, I just want to lay you down."
Yes. I mean, he just was like, this is who I am. I am.
This is who I am. Take it or leave it.
He's definitely a horny, tortured teenager on this album. Like, you can hear it.
Yes, you can.
He was definitely in love.
Yeah, the song has like a sweetness that I think it's a little bit sweeter than he was maybe later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he got more like aggressive.
Jaded.
He probably
Well, sure. Who doesn't?
He got more play too. So
right. Right.
More confident, more fame, but it's teenage Prince.
All right. Well, so it seems like we're kind of, I wouldn't say divided, but in love. Not everyone's favorite song. This kind of, it's a nice song.
I like it.
I think I'm the minority in.
You're the minority.
I can't remember it, so I can't choose a side.
I'm falling in love.
No.
Nope. No. Okay.
No.
So.
She did like it until your rendition, Jeremy.
I know.
No, I don't. I
just lost another subscriber. Whoops.
We should have like a subscriber count at the bottom and like how many it starts with and how many it ends with.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Track 3 was the first single from the album, I believe, and I believe it was also a minor chart hit. So this was the first time Prince charted. The song is "Soft and Wet." And we are getting into classic Prince territory.
Yes. Yes.
That's, I mean, the title itself kind of gives me the like, ooh, soft and wet. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about, okay, I love this song.
Love it.
Love this song. It's funky. It's very 70s with that mood kind of bass. I don't know. Take it away, you guys. What do you think of Soft and Wet?
I personally, it's not one of my favorites. It's not that I dislike it.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it by any stretch. It's just not one of my favorites. But recently I read the lyrics to it and I realized that for years I had no idea what the hell he was saying. I must have just been singing along phonetically. And I was like reading the words and I'm like, huh. So I recommend everybody Google the lyrics in case you think you know what he's saying.
He's saying like, "Hey lover, something, 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 something."
Yeah, I got a sugar cane that I want to lose in you, baby. Can you stand the pain?
Oh boy,
I know it's pretty out there.
I think that to me it feels like
Jeremy's
such a
right
Prince song.
Yeah.
Wait, what does he say? What does he say again, Jeffrey? I'm sorry. Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I might have been singing. Hey lover, I've got a sugar cane that I want to lose in you, baby. Can you stand the pain?
I can't imagine.
Prince. It's Prince. So Jeremy, I feel like while it might sound a little bit like 70s, I feel like it's a segue into the 80s, into like the Prince self-titled album a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of like, this is just textbook Prince. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. My favorite song on the album.
Go ahead,
it doesn't sound as 70s to me as the rest of the album. This one sounds more advanced.
Right.
Okay, this is a stretch, and you guys may disagree with me, but I almost feel it predates like kind of the Thriller sound. Like it has a little bit of that 80s kind of bounce.
I love it.
I think to me it felt like everyone's been saying it felt like Prince, like it was his territory.
So
it was
good,
funky. It was clever. You know,
it was dirty.
It was dirty, right? It was him, you know, talking about himself, which is a favorite topic. And, you know, I think that it really transcends the rest of the album in many ways.
He's breathing heavy, so he's like breathing. You know, that's classic Prince.
Classic Prince for breathing. Soft and wet. I mean, how filthy. What else could it be?
Yeah. And surprisingly, he was able to get away with it back then. Like,
I know.
I think anything went in the 70s. I think there just wasn't like the.
I agree.
Amount of.
I mean, you could go to the regular movie theaters to watch porn.
Well, yeah,
you know?
But then
so.
Not Pee Wee Herman.
Well, there's watching, and then there's
doing,
participating. Yes.
Well, any thoughts on Soft and Wet before we move on?
I have many thoughts.
Did he perform this live, Jeffrey?
Yes, he did. In fact, he did it even on the Parade tour.
Oh, really?
Get out of there.
Which actually, I kind of like that version a little bit better because it sounds a little more modern. I feel like Soft and Wet is a little bit too dated sounding.
Right.
It works for me with In Love, but for some reason on Soft and Wet, it kind of annoys me. I don't know why.
That is strange.
But now I hear Crazy You, so maybe we need to move on.
All right, so we're moving on to Crazy. Now, Crazy You, there's a couple songs on this album that are just Prince and the acoustic guitar with maybe like a couple overdubs. But did Prince really do that much after this album? That organic, just kind of folky guitar and voice?
More of acoustic.
Well, he did do that acoustic album in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like by that time, it was more of a, what am I trying to say? He didn't do this again on like his major mainstream releases, I guess, is more what I'm thinking. I love it. Tina Marie has this CD of like demos that she did to turn the acoustic guitar, and this kind of reminds me of that. I think this is very 70s in a different way. Kind of like that singer-songwriter soulful thing. Like, how cool would it have been just to hear Prince chilling with an acoustic guitar just playing the song? This reminds me of that didn't a demo of I Feel For You come out? That was just him and the guitar. So it makes you wonder how many songs started out like this, but when he got more capability in the studio, it kind of segued into something else. Because
I feel like this song is like getting to hear Prince at his most vulnerable. Because I mean, like, you know, he's very tender. He's very, you know, expressing himself. His inner thoughts. You know,
he's very sweet. And I don't think that there's a lot of songs that showcase this kind of. It's very, and I don't mean this dismissively. It's very. Oh my gosh, I think his name is Bernard, but I'm not sure now. I don't think it is anymore. He was really popular like a few years ago. His name is like Burn somebody. He's a young singer. You guys totally know who I'm talking about, but I just can't think of his name.
How do you guys feel about
Bruno Mars. Jesus. Bruno Mars.
Well, Bruno's definitely more the time for me. When I hear the time, or when I hear Bruno Mars, I'm like definitely time was influence for him. The time.
Right. How do you all feel about like the water drippy sound throughout this song?
Kind of annoying, but the thing I like so much about this is like Prince really like lets you inside of his chest, so to speak, and then it just fades out. There's like no second verse. He's like, I'll give you a little bit, but not everything, which is, again, I feel like he's giving you a sneak preview of his life in this record.
The song definitely leaves me wanting.
Unfinished. Yeah, it felt unfinished. It felt like many of the songs were unfinished and were just snippets in a sense.
Well, one thing we talked about in our first discussion is just, you know, obviously how many different sounds and genres he tapped into, but I'm a sucker for Prince ballads. I assumed all Prince fans loved ballady Prince, and I realize that's not the case now.
No, it is not the case.
But I do. I am like, most of my top songs are ballads or slow jams. Like, so this was great. It was beautiful. I love it.
See, I like Crazy You Prince, but I don't like Adore Prince. Like, he had different kinds of ballads.
That's one of my favorites. Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Love it.
For me, like if someone sang the lyrics "Adore" to me and meant them, I would like run off to like Europe, on a dime. But they had to mean them sincerely.
I get it.
I don't trust men enough. I don't trust men enough to take this into my
you
heart.
do have a point there.
All men lie.
That's a separate podcast altogether.
All humans lie.
I'm just kidding if anyone's taking this seriously. Well, Crazy You, I love this song. I think there's not even that acoustic album doesn't sound like this song though. He was playing guitar different by then, wasn't he? A little bit. From what I remember of the acoustic album.
Yeah. It's not quite as like that album.
Like that,
but it's still kind of light and acoustic sound.
Right. All right. Well, side one of the record ended with Just As Long As We're Together. I have this on vinyl. There's like a disco mix promo single. So I tracked that down. I feel like this is the first like extended Prince jam. Yeah. So this kind of like this foreshadowed what Prince would serve to us for many, many years. And it's interesting. Janet Jackson came out with this album Unbreakable in 2015, and she has a song called Night, which I think she was kind of like emulating. I love that song. I feel like it was kind of a throwback to the jam on this song. So how do you guys feel about Just As Long As We're Together?
This sounded more like just the disco feel to me when I first heard it. Like when it comes in, and then by the time it gets to that 3 minutes of jamming, then it's like a totally different song.
Right.
See, and I hear the Earth, Wind, and Fire influence a little bit, and just the jam session and the band, and just he's the band, but like the instrumentation, I like it. This is one of my favorite songs on the album, and the outro, I love it.
I can take it or leave it. Really? As I'm thinking about this in this discussion, I'm like, I don't like this album as much as because in theory it's like his first album, so of course it's great. I mean, I don't dislike it by any stretch. It's just when I start to kind of analyze the tracks, I'm like, this isn't one of my favorites. This isn't either.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All redeemed at the very end because
it's not a go-to. It's not. Yes.
Agreed. I do think that this. I don't like this song very much. I think it's very disco-y,
But when you think about the fact that every instrument that's on this jam session is him, it's like mind-blowing.
That's true. That's true.
But again, much like the Beatles, you can recognize that something's important, right, or whatever, but not like it.
We maybe should pause the song because I want the Prince estate to yank this for copyright.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you guys could hear it.
Yeah.
It's done. Yes, it is done.
So, Jeffrey, you don't like this? Like, you're like about this song?
It's just not one of my favorites. I mean, it's a good song. I think. He did perform it live on the very first tour, but he never picked it up again after that. He really abandoned a lot of this record and never played it again.
Bye.
We have a friend, Danielle, that's a huge Prince fan, and she knows all the proteges. And I asked her this discussion. She's like, I've only listened to that one like twice.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you kind of have to go back to it. So it's not something I would put on.
Right.
But it's like as we're discussing it, it's like I know every track. I've listened to this album a million times, so it's not like I've not listened to it. It's just as we're discussing it, it kind of brings up like, I don't really like this song.
Yeah.
Or I should say, I like it lesser than other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that was side one of the record. Does anyone need to take a bathroom break or anything?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm going to pause the recording, and then we'll come right back. All right, we're back. Side two of For You. Well, I will admit that I did like side one more than side two when I was a kid. And I don't think I really had too many go-to tracks on this. But listening to it in my car today, I liked it a little bit more than I remembered. So side two starts off with a ballad about teenage pregnancy. So Papa Don't Preach, Move Over, because we have the Prince song Baby, where he's basically singing to his partner that they are going to have a baby, correct? And this was never one of my
no matter what, kind of a threatening thing. We're going to have this goddamn baby.
No, I think it's kind of
GG baby.
Well,
it's like, baby, what are we going to do?
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember there being an aggressive one. But this actually predates Madonna's Papa Don't Preach. Not just Move Over, but, you know,
by
predates by years. Yes.
Another song with those smooth vocals. I'm here for it.
See, I'm not. This is a skip for me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites either, which is, like I was saying earlier, was like you start going, wait, I don't really like a lot of these songs.
I felt that way about So Blue.
Okay.
I agree with you there as well.
I do not agree with that.
Oh.
We're skipping. I'm on bed.
Well, so Baby, it just seemed kind of like saccharine to me. It's just kind of like too sweet. I don't know.
It has a very upbeat beat to it to be about, you know, sort of a life-altering thing. Not that it has to be like a dirge, you know, but it just doesn't feel like it necessarily. It's just real.
Some of the
upbeat
soul style in here reminded me of some of the sound of some of the early Tina Marie albums from Motown too. Like she kind of had some of these ballads that were kind of majestic and soulful. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about the song.
I don't think he ever performed Baby or So Blue live. He really didn't represent this album in his repertoire live, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I can imagine he didn't love this album.
But also he wrote so many songs. It was probably I would say it's more that he forgot about them than didn't love them, because he kind of loved all of his babies.
So I have I'm a huge Phoenix fan, and a lot of her songs, like she wrote a ton of songs in the 70s. Then she'd kind of go back and pull those songs for like the next 20 years. Because it was such a fertile writing period. So when Prince released For You, had he already written some of the songs that were on his second album? Or because like when we did,
the Prince excavators are kind of uncovering that stuff now, because I mean no one knew that I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man was written like in this era. You know,
crazy, yeah.
So how did Prince skip putting "I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man" on this album?
No,
instead of "Baby." You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad.
Yeah, but it makes sense because he didn't have who is it, Sheila E. in it.
Also, nobody knew who he was, so maybe they just didn't realize that, like, you know, they probably realized he was going to have some hits here and there, but maybe they didn't realize he was going to become a legend. The legend
hit maker. Yes, yeah. I think that it was good because I would rather have the version we have than like some pale kind of, you know,
disco-y.
Hyper disco-y or just like real slow. I feel like it could have been.
The demo of "I Can Never Take Your Place or Your Man" is on one of the box sets, right? It's on the Sign of the Times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Wasn't it pretty like Dirty Mindish rock sounding, if I remember right, or no? Correct.
Well, they claim it was 1979, but it kind of has a 1980-81 feel. So
it doesn't sound like this album.
No, but I mean, it was probably, you know, for all we know, the next day. I mean, knowing what we know now about Prince, it would not surprise me that when he turned in this album, he probably had 5 other ones that were like ready.
That's what I was thinking too. He was
did.
so prolific, right? That he must have had, which is why I'm like, these are your final choices.
It's interesting, like when that book came out about the studio sessions during Purple Rain, it was interesting to me that like while Prince was like attending the award shows, like he had already written Raspberry Beret. You know what I mean? It's interesting to think of the overlapping of some of his songwriting, because it's hard for me to think that the song Around the World in a Day existed when he was out promoting like I Would Die for You. Like they just seem like two such separate eras. So it's interesting that he was cooking up these things behind the scenes that would come like a year later. So, you know, when he was recording this album with its like disco-y songs, you know, had he already written I Want to Be Your Lover, but it was too new for this album? Who knows? Like, we don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, with Prince, I feel like, you know, he probably even had a lot of his later tracks mapped out too.
Right.
I don't feel like he had written Dirty Mind yet, though. I don't think he'd gone there yet.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, excuse me. This album seems like he was just fresh off of being in love, and he's, you know, had a lot of stuff that he was writing from those feelings.
It's very like bright-eyed and wide-eyed to the world.
Yeah, right.
And it's kind of like bittersweet almost, because you almost never hear that in Prince again, ever.
There's some emancipation. a little bit with him and Maite.
I guess I should listen to that one.
When did Emancipation come out?
97.
95.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was it 95? 95.
I thought Gold Experience was 95.
Oh, Emancipation was 96. My bad.
96. I lived in Atlanta when it came out.
Wow, Jeffrey, how embarrassing.
I know. My Prince card has been taken away.
Not at all. Are you kidding?
Emancipation's a 3-disc set, and I must admit that I've never listened to it. So are we going to tackle that?
Oh my gosh, in one sitting? Yes, in one sitting. Let's be done with it.
Yeah, but we should just do like lightning round. The lightning round. It'll be like everyone gets one comment.
Yes.
There's 36 songs.
Oh my gosh.
I just never got into it. I mean, I did.
We'd probably be here for 5 hours.
It's 1.5 albums spread out over 3 discs.
Oh, okay. All right. So at least it did get a second album's worth.
There's some jamming tracks on there, but then there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of filler. But then when you know some of the bootlegs, you learn that a lot of the songs on Emancipation were like, there was like, even though it was 36 songs, there was like 80 songs to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then there's probably a shitload that we don't even know about that are out there. So, which, you know, it's things like that where you're just like, even if the material isn't great, you're just like, how could someone make all of this stuff?
3 albums. Okay, back to 1978. I guess we're skipping ahead of ourselves. My Love Is Forever, another disco song.
Another one of not my favorites.
I like the guitar work here, though.
Yeah,
kind of like little solo part of it, and then it does get a little dated at the end, but there's sprinkles of genius here. Prince sound that I love.
Another one he never performed live.
This one's
and this one's also light and airy. Sorry.
Oh no! Don't apologize. Please go.
You like this one, Melissa?
I was just saying, it's more light and airy to me, like kind of like
I feel like we're in Bee Gees territory.
There, but yeah, again, like that feel. It's kind of like, not something I go back and say, hey, I gotta listen to that song.
Yes, I agree.
So.
Again.
But one thing Prince albums sometimes do, like on the 1999 album, for example, where a lot of the songs sound like they're in the same family. Yes. My Love Is Forever, Just As Long As We're Together, and In Love all sound like they're in the same family. That kind of disco-y.
Yeah.
But they're not like carbon copies. They're just in that same.
No, they're different, but they're very disco-y though. They're very sort of
from the
ethereal.
I think that's why I love talking about Prince albums, because I think he created an atmosphere that's unique to each album. You know what I mean? Like you have like the Dirty Mind family that really wouldn't fit on any album but that one. Like 1999 had its sound with like the Lindrums and the synthesizers. For sure. And then like you get Wendy and Lisa on Around the World in a Day, and that stuff's not going to fit on like Diamonds and Pearls. You know what I mean? So it's like this album starts off that kind of trajectory of, like you said, the family of songs, and I completely agree. So yeah, I really have nothing else to say about My Love Is Forever. I'm like, it's nice. It's like a nice bounce. Like you're just driving, like. So Blue is another one of those like acoustic songs. It's him and the guitar. I just feel like kind of about it. Any thoughts, anybody?
Very sad because he's talking about he's crying and stuff. So to me, it's like a very sad.
Why is he crying?
Yeah.
Because he's so blue.
He's so blue.
I guess she broke up with him. I don't know.
So he's got some bluesy. It's a bluesy guitar there, which is nice. She left him.
That's what it sounds like.
I doubt that very much.
Somebody in high school.
I know.
Yeah, I like the acoustic guitar, but then towards the middle and end, I just kind of get bored with the song.
Right.
I just lose interest.
Yeah.
But he never performed this one?
No.
Wow.
And I feel like he could have done like some weird like ambient version later on in life, but he never did.
So what songs did he perform from this album? Soft and Wet. He played
Soft
for
and
you.
Wet. Wait, say that again.
And then he played for you over the speakers.
Over the speakers, and he did I'm Yours one time, and he did like a minute of it, and he sang like one line from it. He did it in an after show in LA.
I guess he wasn't yours for very long, huh?
Speaking of, let's jump into I'm Yours.
All right.
Okay, I will start with, oh my God, what a great fucking song.
See, I don't like this song at all. I don't
One
like
of my favorite songs ever of Prince. He just fucking rocks. And again,
I like how he starts it with the guitar, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, it's funky, a little funky.
What a fucking beast he was on guitar.
See, I feel like
the song is like heavy metal almost.
He comes in with this like rocking guitar, then he has this like dainty falsetto, like it's not working for me.
Really?
See, I feel like
the music sounds like this, and then the vocals sound like this. Like it just is.
I love the song Bambi, and I'm not going to compare it to that, but there's like hints.
I like Bambi.
He's rocking out just guitar wise. There's hints of like how strong he is on this. This is his instrument.
But the vocals on Bambi, he like shrieks the vocals on Bambi. He's like screaming. You know what I mean?
I think maybe I'm focusing more on the guitar, so maybe I just overlook the vocals.
Jeremy, picture him shredding on a guitar solo, but also wearing high heels.
Well, okay.
I
guess I do like
the juxtaposition of Prince things.
And in no way am I like putting down vulnerability or femininity or, you know.
Of course.
But I just feel like musically the song just wanted to be so rough. And vocally, I just feel like it didn't give the same kind of performance. Like he sold it musically, but not lyrically to me. But
I'm with Joshua there. I only listen to the guitar, so I don't really hear the lyrics and stuff. So.
It's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's one of it's definitely my favorite track off the record, and it's one of my favorite Prince guitar solos of all time.
Really?
I just think he just
kills it.
Kills it. And I mean, the fact that he's so young just makes it like even more mind blowing to me.
Like I don't think he got better. Like this, he was just always this good at playing the guitar. Like I just think it was in him.
Yeah.
Phonogenics is canceled. I'm just
I do like it, and I have to say, and this is probably I can't imagine there aren't millions of people who also agree with me, but I'm not a super fan of Prince's falsetto. And
right.
Really, Melissa?
Doesn't mean Melissa and I are like on the same.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Good.
I love it.
Oh, you do love it.
Yeah, we love it.
Oh, sorry, I missed. I thought you.
I like it depending on the song. It depends on the song.
I think that I don't love it.
I'm not a huge fan of falsetto in general, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, it's not against Prince,
just Prince,
but sometimes it is against Prince. So but I think that here again as a showcase piece, and this was one of the only full-length songs really. It was a showcase piece that his gift as a musician. I mean, he really has that funk, right? That leads us away from, but the falsetto is, I have to agree with Gloff. It's just not doing it for me.
Sounds like a wimp.
And I love a falsetto, so I'm like, our ears just like something different, you know?
No, I think the song is like pretty much a
like
perfect
trash,
song.
Evidently.
Between that falsetto and Lana Del Rey, man, I am like doomed.
You are doomed.
Here comes the thumbs down on the damn video.
Yes.
Right.
Well, my favorite song on the album, let me take a look. I think it's In Love. I think it's bouncy, makes me feel good. I think the falsetto has some nice harmonies on there. I'm ready to go to the river. So what's that?
As soon as we get off this call, I'm going to put I'm Yours on like 5 times.
What's everyone's favorite song on this album? Let's go around the circle. And what was
I'm Yours?
I'm Yours for Jeffrey.
I don't even know. I don't have a favorite. I probably have a least favorite, but I mean, there were a couple. I don't know the names of any of them. Sorry.
Baby's my
least favorite is when generally he mixes all of it together. His falsetto, disco, and it's loud and abrasive. So that I think that's a couple songs.
Melissa, what's your favorite and least favorite song on For You?
Okay.
I was just saying, I think In Love is where he comes in with the disco and the falsetto.
Yeah.
One of your favorites. One of mine is, it's either between Soft and Wet or I'm Yours.
Yeah, Soft and Wet is good. You're right. That is a good one.
Joshua, favorite and least favorite?
Soft and Wet's my favorite. It's just a sign of things to come. It's my favorite track on the album by far. Nothing's even close. And then my least favorite, So Blue.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I prefer it hard and wet. So I mean,
yes.
You just lost another subscriber.
Another thumbs down.
Most people do. But Prince convinced me there are other ways of liking it.
Yes, he did. That's the thing I love about this podcast. We can have a little fun and not take it too seriously. I love this album because it's Prince's first album. And everyone has to have their first album. It has an a cappella song. He's just playing the guitar.
It's a great sampler of what is to come from his career. Because I mean, it really does have everything. Because even his second album isn't as varied as this one.
I feel like it's a signal for what's to come, but then there's some things that he never did again also. Whether like even mood-wise, like maybe he was never as quite naive or like starry-eyed.
Right. That's a good word for it.
Well, and I feel like even like with the guitar solos and stuff like that, he hardly ever rocked out. He did live, but on record, he hardly ever rocked out as much. I mean, there's a couple songs. Endorphin Machine is probably one, and I Like It There is probably one, but to just really just like fucking go off like he does in I'm Yours, which I mean, I wish there was a whole album of stuff like that.
And that's why I brought up Bambi too, another song where he just annihilates.
He shreds that song.
What's that from?
It's now next month we'll be talking about Bambi.
Oh, it's his second album then.
One of my favorite albums. I can't
get
wait.
ready for a hard rock Prince song about a lesbian. Right? It's about a lesbian.
Is it about a lesbian or is it about him? Okay.
It's about a lesbian.
It's about a lesbian.
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. So, all right. Do we have any other thoughts? Okay. One last thing for fun. If you could rate For You on a scale of 1 to 10, what would everyone rate it?
Oh.
A 6.
6.
Oh.
That's what I had in my head.
6?
Are we talking about like with just Prince albums or like in general?
Or both. Give us both.
Yeah, I'm thinking of ranking it according to Prince albums.
Okay.
Not against any other albums in the world, because that just seems like it's...
While you guys are thinking of your number, I'm thinking of reading, like, I would like to read some reviews of when this album came out, because you know how reviewers cannot categorize, they have to put people in buckets, and Prince completely like defies like every genre in this. I wonder how the reviewers like took this album at the time, and if they like got it, because I bet you they didn't.
It wouldn't be interesting to listen to this record without the context of what came later. You know what I mean? I can't imagine hearing it
for the first time
and it being the only thing you knew.
Because we listened to For You knowing Let's Go Crazy, like for me, you know what I mean? So
people were probably scratching their heads confused.
82, and
okay, all right. Is that the third album then? 1999
was the 5th.
Oh, it was so crazy prolific, unbelievable. That's how I feel about you, Jeremy.
You just got a new subscriber.
Yeah. So, I'm almost done with my 23rd.
The Lord giveth and taketh away.
right. What were you saying, Melissa?
Oh, I was saying if we're rating this against other Prince albums, there's obviously a lot of other albums that I like better, but I don't know. This would be like on the lower of my Prince albums. Like I don't go to it. I don't say, hey, I want to listen to this, but I still love the songs. I still love him. You know what I mean?
Melissa, will you show everyone your shirt? Because I don't think look at Melissa's got the Prince For You shirt from Hot Topic, right?
Everyone at home should be clapping.
$5 It was on clearance.
That's the best part of it.
What an odd shirt to make. Like of all the Prince shirts, let's sell it for you.
It's from the estate too. It has the estate
symbol. That is awesome.
I want one, kind of.
Purple though.
Yeah.
Which blue makes more sense, but they call it purple, but it's actually blue.
Yeah, it does look blue.
It's so blue.
It's so blue.
Blue.
Boom, boom. Nice. Well, I guess I'd rank it maybe like a 4, but I honestly, I'd rank it higher just in the sense of how curated it is and how, how intent it was on showcasing, right? Rather than maybe having one consistent, type or style.
And before we go,
then.
Can we talk about this album cover? Like,
yes, that mustache has got to go, Prince.
The font, though. Like, I feel like this font is like it's.
I feel like that came out of like that. That's like what's that Angel movie with Nicole Kidman, or no, maybe she's not in it, but Meg Ryan and the Angel guy plays the Angel. That they literally look like the same soundtrack covers.
And then there's the picture inside that it looks like he's naked, but he's not really. He's sitting on
close up. Get that closer.
I thought I read someplace that that picture was like taken at a department store.
I read he was wearing swimming trunks in the picture.
And the LP has the big fold-out poster of that.
Oh, it does. Do you have that?
Not the one I have. No, they must have taken it before they took it back to the record store.
Wow, that's really uncool.
But the front cover is like a Prince giving you side eye from the very get-go.
Yeah, he is.
Because he is giving you the side eye right there.
I feel he's like
he's not only judging you.
Yes, yeah.
He's at the Minneapolis Mall in the Glamour Shot studio, like with the backlighting.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Afro in full effect. I love it. Giving us the side eye. He's like, here I am, bitches.
He is king of the side eye.
The thing that's weird about that is how understated it is. Like, I think he's naked. Like there's just nothing there, and I know him to be, the opposite of
larger
that,
than
frankly. Right? Yes. Like the clothing and satin and lace and sequins and high heels.
He didn't really like Dirty Mind was kind of like the delineation of when his style like really took off.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like really bad, not great fashion sense in the first 2 albums, and then all of a sudden Dirty Mind came along, and it was like, okay, this is me, and I'm gonna do my thing from now on. And then I think when he got money around the 1999 era, and then like kicked it up a notch, and then from that point on, always had money. So then he started having his own team of clothiers.
Okay.
Even the second album, like he had his shirt off, and he was like naked on the unicorn on the back. So I feel like. Was he ever this subtle and understated again ever in his career? Is this?
No, I don't think so.
Speaking of wardrobe, wasn't Brenda Bennett his wardrobe mistress? That's how she got started. And she was singing along to Stand Back or Stevie Nicks in the dressing room. And when Prince heard Brenda sing, that's when he asked her to join Vanity 6. So that's the legend.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, Prince always wanted to have this fashion, right? So again, this wasn't part of a packaged look or anything. This was his fashion. He just couldn't ever afford it before.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thought you would know. I'm really disappointed.
You've stumped me, Anne.
Didn't he get a lump sum?
Such an important question.
What's that, Melissa?
I said, didn't he get a lump sum when he signed with Warner Brothers? So he would have had some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He blew through it, though, from what Joshua said. 3 times, right?
I think it was 3 times over the.
Yeah. He's a
I bet you anything it's because he recorded 5 albums. It's probably not because he was like trying to make these songs perfect. Because I know there's at least 4 versions of Soft and Wet, and like all of them have different lyrics.
Well,
they're in the ether.
Okay. I do feel like, this album was so meticulously crafted that when we get to the second album next month, it has a looser, breezier feel because he probably just didn't have the budget. So he had to like kind of record it faster, which lent itself to how much great that album is. So I look forward to our discussion next month. All right. Any other thoughts for my Prince friends here?
No.
Right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Once again, when you go to Starbucks and buy that cup of coffee, you can also subscribe to the Jeremy Gloff Patreon. Oh, JJ Vickers wants to enter the room. Let's let him in. He can talk about For You for a minute.
All right. 1 minute.
Hey. So this is JJ Vickers coming at us from Ohio, who's also a huge Prince fan. Can you hear us? Oh, I see you, but I can't hear you.
He's connecting.
Oh, he's on.
Right,
oh, you're on mute.
The world waits with bated breath.
There he is.
Hey, I think you're unmuted.
What's up?
Hey, you're just in time. We were about to wrap it up, but tell us what you think of this album.
Which one was it?
For You.
Oh yeah, that was a great album. Show up at the end, right? Oh, very strong debut. Very typical of the R&B of the era, which is no crime. But at the same time, although it's typical of the era, you've got somebody who's literally doing everything himself. Somebody that wrote all the tunes, somebody that arranged them, played the instruments, produced them. And for somebody at such a young age doing all of that themselves, quality control is, I'd say, ranges from good to excellent throughout the album. So obviously the whole the sound and the identity and the persona and all that kind of stuff, wasn't there yet. That would take a while to develop, but just as a debut, it just really kicks some ass. And there's some cool tunes on it, of course, some that are worth introducing the neighbors to.
So before we go, we got to ask, what's your favorite song and least favorite song on this album?
Favorite and least favorite. Let me see. My favorite will probably be I'm Yours.
Oh, that was everyone else's favorite.
Surprise. What?
That was everyone else's favorite, but I'm the only one that doesn't like that song.
Well, I'm a guitarist who writes songs. You're a songwriter who plays guitar. We're coming at it from different ends of the spectrum.
That's true.
It's cool. We're still friends. Oh shit! What was the other one that closed the other side?
Just
Actually, my two favorites are the closers on both sides. I'm Yours and what was the other one? Somebody help me out here.
Just As Long As We're Together.
Yeah, that one. Just As Long As We're Together. Yeah, kind of tied for those two. Least favorite would be So Blue.
That was the consensus.
General consensus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit fast forward on that one.
Well, cool. Thanks for jumping in and giving us some thoughts. We're going to be back next month to talk about the 1979 self-titled second album from Prince. Make sure to like the Phonogenics 101 YouTube channel, subscribe to my Patreon, and we will see you talking about Prince in February. I'm going to keep the camera on. I'm just going to pause it so we can keep talking. So to everyone on YouTube, goodbye.